Which one do you like better? This one? This one? Or this one? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk about under-detailing and over-detailing, and it's very important to address this situation because I feel like it kind of got out of hand. So when Bloxburg first started in 2016, every house looked like this, and then pillars and advanced placing were introduced and people used pillars on the side, and then of course wall trims were introduced as well, and then people started using wall trims. But now with the beams we have gone into the over-detailing phase, and it has gotten to the point where if someone builds a normal house like this without all of the extra flavor or whatever you want to call it, people call it under-detailed, call it bad, don't even want to watch it because it is not in their liking. And that is where speed building started to die out a little bit, and people only build really realistic builds now, and the simpler houses you don't really see anymore. So if you plan on doing a speed build, for example this one, people would say it's under-detailed just because it doesn't have all of the extra stuff. However, it still looks really good. Like, Aikatori is really good at building. She doesn't use all of the details or all of the wall decorations, and I'm so glad that she's still getting views. But we have gone into a place with Bloxburg that if you want to build a house, you have to either spend 2 weeks on it or it isn't good, or it has to be all white, all aesthetic. Why is this here? And normal, simple houses aren't good anymore. And we have to keep in mind that doing over-detailed builds is a style and not something you should have on your house. So building a simple house can still be a lot of fun. Playing with shapes is definitely important when it comes to building. If you just start out with Bloxburg, it is important not to fall into the trap of over-detailing your house and just playing for the fun of it, because that's kind of what people lost with all of the massive wall hacks and whatever people added. This is even a simpler version I made, but there is way different things that people do. For example, go into the fence gates, and then they add a fence gate to their wall, something like that, and just adding a lot of stuff that isn't truly needed, but a lot of people still choose to do it. Of course, yes, it does look a little bit nicer than the other ones. However, you don't need to spend so much time building your house. So today I'm just gonna be showing some easy tips to make a better looking house without spending hours to make a simple wall, looking up hacks, feeling forced and pressured to build something really detailed or people won't like it, because that's what we've been missing in Bloxburg lately. And I feel like everyone is doing those over-detailed builds now where if you want to build normal houses you just don't want to start it even because it's so hard to do. So first off, for a lot of these you need advanced placing, but some very simple things that you can do if you want to make, for example, a cool accent wall or something like that. So the first thing you do is, of course, you add the stuff that you want to add to the wall or the stuff that was already on your wall. So let's start with some simple items. So alright, just added 2 frames. Now then, if you go into decorations, and you go into your item frames, or no, just like frames, you have a full wall painting. And as you can see, this is 2 blocks wide. You can add them right next to each other. Of course, this is like a little bit hard, so I'm gonna end the wall over here. And then if you go into that, actually I should have only added 1 of these wall paintings, but if you want to add, for example, wooden beams, or beams, for example, I don't know what to look for actually, planks. So for example, I found this pattern that I like. Going back into build mode, gonna delete those paintings, so that was my mistake. And you just copy and paste them onto your wall, just like that. As you can see, you create your own little painted wall without doing too much effort. You can also, of course, still go to walls and create your own wall that you like. Give it a nice color. I must say, for the blues, it's like if you have light blues, but you want a darker blue, you can always go to metal, and as you can see, it looks a lot more sophisticated. And then just adding a wall trim to that will make your build look really good and modern. And this is a very, very simple wall that I've just done. I just literally spent 20 seconds on it doing it, and I feel like it looks as good as those over-detailed builds. So just to keep in mind that those over-detailed builds are a separate style. Not everyone has to do them. If someone builds a house with these types of walls, don't call it under-detailed. It is their choice to use that. And we need to go back to more of these simple styles, even though we can do this, yes, and that is amazing. playing, we need to go back to these simple styles. Even if you want to add blinds or something like that, it still looks really good. Also play with shapes. So for example, if you add this as a house, so you do a 3x5 for example, it will look okay. It will look like a house. Adding a roof onto that, as you can see, it will look okay. It's nothing special, it's still a house. But if you start playing with shapes, so if you, for example, think about, like, if you have been playing for a little bit, you don't have to straight up start by doing those over detailed stuff. But if you play with your shapes, so for example, this is going to be the front door, and then I will have a living room that pops out a little bit, and then over here is where I will have an extra little room just coming out of that. Of course, I want a little room to have some space, and maybe a little bit that pops out where I will have some windows, so that will be a separate area. And then same thing in the back, so this room is done. We also pop out over here, and where the front door is, I kind of want to go a little bit more outward, for example. Or I want to create a bay window. No, let's not do the bay window for now. And then going back in like that, and my kitchen will be here, for example, and then back to the living room. And this is what my house looks like at the moment. And of course, adding your roof onto that, it will make it a lot better than just a rectangle or a square. So you connect your dots, see what it looks like. And actually, I'm gonna have my front door over here, so I'm gonna make the roof pop out just a little bit more here. And as you can see, this is where the front of my house is. Of course, you can add pillars to the front and just play with the shapes a little bit. And then to hide the areas that you like a little less, so for example, this indent over here, you can just add some trees in front of that to hide it. And it gives your house some depth. As you can see from the street, it looks a lot better already. Of course, I still have this last part over here, so this is going to have a different type of roof. And I especially wanted to keep that to make it look a little bit different. And there we go. And to create a sunroom, I usually just go into windows, pick a window that I like. So let's go for this one this time. Maybe this one is a little bit too small. Yeah, let's go for that one. And then the window that I had before, let's put that on the side. And I do want to make it a different color than what the house is. And if you want to go over details, just do it a bit by bit. Don't copy from a tutorial. Just play with shapes, play with whatever you want to play. It's still your game, it's your fun. And if you copy something, you might get bored really, really easily. And as you can see, adding a little extra area to the side of your house, like a sunroom in this case, in a different material and color, just kind of makes the house have a little bit extra without spending hours over detailing it. And of course, if you are playing and you still have money left, you can go into the wall trim section. So wall trim, and then add a trim, of course. Sometimes I even do the full height, but let's not do that now. So for example, something like this, you can paint that in a wooden material. And that's my sunroom over here. And then of course, same thing for all of your walls. Just adding wall trims is more than enough. Tall flat baseboard, for example. Adding this to my house will make the house look a lot better already without doing too much effort, just clicking and placing. Also, if you don't find a color that you like, don't paint everything white, because that's the most basic and boring thing that you can do. But go onto Pinterest or something and look up interiors or exteriors for houses that you like. So this is a suburban house. And as you can see, if you look up suburban house exterior, I can already find a lot of houses that use that kind of brick that I want. They are using a grayish color to combine it with. And I just get my inspiration from here. Instead of painting everything white, like even blush pink, like extremely light pink is still white. Don't think that blush and white are two completely different opposite colors. If you combine all of these, your house will just look white. No cap. But as you can see, I'm finding a lot of inspiration here, like the blue house, I really like that, the blue color, and just like extra details that you can find and add to your builds. But as you can see, the walls here aren't over detailed either. And then going to windows, your windows can also change the house quite a lot, so just adding shutters will give it a completely different vibe than if you just would add a normal window. As you can see, it completely looks different already. You don't need that much detail. The only thing that I would add to this house is maybe a trim on top, like a really, really small one. Just like that, to make it look a little bit more finished. But as you can see, you don't need all of the over detailing. You don't need to feel pressured to spend weeks on a simple house that you just want to build. And if you want to have a simple looking house, then that's completely fine. And don't go onto YouTube commenting onto other people's video where they didn't over detail their house and used something like pillars or something like that. Don't go and comment that they suck or that they can't build. If they use less materials, maybe they're even better of a builder because they they don't have to hide everything with different materials, but that's completely the way that you want to build, and it's a different style. So consensus of the video, we have gone a bit too much overboard with the over detailing, as in people feel pressured to build a house that is over detailed, making them burned out of Bloxburg. It happened to me, it happened to a lot of other people as well, where if you build a simple house, it's not even good anymore, or people don't even watch it anymore because you didn't over detail it and have like an eye-catching thing. So that's kind of where Bloxburg is right now. A lot of people are burnt out because they feel like they need to compete with this type of a build. Now anyways, I'm gonna leave it at this for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your input, hit that like button, and please subscribe.